Welcome to historic Peoria, Oregon. It's just 9 miles south of Corvallis, or 12 miles north of Harrisburg if you come from Eugene. Harrisburg is one of many old towns that were bypassed by the freeway. It still has charm from the early days because of its old brick and masonry buildings. When you get to the north end of Harrisburg, instead of turning right with Highway 99, you just go straight ahead. You go about 12 more miles past this old barn that's fallen down and the Lake Creek Grange, and then you come to Peoria. When I first drove through here and saw all these old crumbling buildings, I kind of got my curiosity up. This is such a nice, peaceful farming community, and about half the people here are Mennonites. Why would anyone want to leave such a lovely place? There was only one business here, the Peoria Garage. So when I inquired, the owner pointed me to this house across the street, and it's owned by Barbara and Steve Crouch. Come to find out, they're the official Peoria Historical Society, and that's where we'll find out what happened to cause this once bustling town to be in this state of decay that it's in today. Could you tell me what all used to be in Peoria?
It had a blacksmith shop, 2 dance halls, a butcher shop, a barber shop, an adult band, 2 schools, 2 churches, 3 stores, and a ferry that started in 1890 and ended in 1946. This town was started because of the paddle wheelers that came up the river, and they carried the products down to other towns because this is a farming community. And this town was settled by Henry McCartney in 1851, and it commenced to be a town site in 1857, but it was never incorporated. So it just kind of died out after the train moved, the California-Oregon Railroad moved through Halsey and Shed. It just kind of dried up and people kind of moved away. Henry McCartney.
320 acres, huh? Wow. That's a big...
Well, see, I think the government gave them that, didn't they?
They give each person 160 acres. If you're married, you got twice.
Oh.
So the guys that married just to get...
Now, is he the man that moved here from Peoria?
Peoria, Illinois, yes. He was the first settler.
Okay, now this was the Clayton store. And it was here first, and then they tore it down to build the dance hall, huh?
Right.
Yeah, looks like the man has no toes in his boots or something.
I like the way some of these people are dressed.
Real down-home style.
Dance hall, store, post office, and this was in front of the warehouse, or what it used to be called the Corvallis Flouring Mills. Lola Caltrier, this is Lola and her husband Charlie Shaw, and they owned the sawmill here that had local lumber for sale. His grandmother, the Caltriers, used to feed the people, some of the people that came off the steamboat. And they'd let them stay overnight if they needed to stay overnight. 1889 to 1913. There's a date of the school.
Second school they built,
Yeah.
1914 to 42, I see, yeah.
Yeah, at Rand.
That's the man that started the church that's now here, and his wife. And then this is his daughters.
Minnie, Golda, Pearl.
Oh, okay.
Minnie's the oldest one.
Now that's the daughter, the oldest daughter.
Yes, this daughter.
Giffens was his
George.
name. George Giffens. Okay.
They were married at the Southern Methodist Church in 1896.
This old picture of the parsonage sure looks different than it does today. Looks like quite an interesting place, but
It was
looks
called
like it was just about gone.
Free Methodist Church.
Oh, okay. Peoria did have a general store and gas station, but it burned down in 1989. This is a colored picture of Peoria?
Taken about, we're going to guess probably 1910 or 1920,
Okay.
thereabouts. This being a Peoria general store that was moved from Main Street to the Peoria roadside about 1932. Next to it would be the post office. Now this tall tower had to do with the seed warehouse that is still there. It's no longer being used. It was water. But this is what they call the powerhouse. It had a steam engine in there for a number of years. In the 30s, it was converted over to diesel. Well, someone put gasoline in that diesel engine and it blew it up. There's little bits and pieces all over back there yet.
Well, what, they made electricity that way?
Now, they generated their own power with that steam and or diesel engine to operate. It was a Fisher flouring mill for a number of years in the 30s and the 40s.
Okay.
Years past, there's been a pellet mill and other such things. This was one of about 5 or 6 warehouses in the Peoria area that stored grass seed, grain, and such for shipment on the Willamette River during Peoria's heyday.
Now the paddle wheel there only came down here in the winter when the water was high.
Yes, when the water was high. They could make it all the way to Eugene City on occasions, depending upon the water. They would go from here to Oregon City at the falls. Some of them made it over the falls. Yes.
They didn't get the brakes on in time or whatever.
Now this particular house is still here. It's still on the corner, painted red right now.
Okay.
This particular building is gone. It was right directly behind our house here. It is no longer there. That was old Trapper Puckett's house. No longer there, so it's fallen down totally now.
There's a few boards over there is all.
That's about it. They say he used to trap a skunk a day and he smelled like one. We never did know the man, so we don't know. He's an old bachelor. Kind of a character of sorts, I guess. It's called the Owen Bear House. That's to be on the north end of Peoria.
And
no longer there. North end of Peoria was called the zoo because the bears, the foxes, and the coons all lived in the north end of Peoria. All that's left now are the coons. They're still very prominent down that end.
Now, even though your house is burned down and you built this new place here, I can see that you still like old things because of all these pieces of furniture that you've built around here. One of them looks like an old ice box. $35 a month for teacher pay. Of course, they got room and board too, though.
For a 3-month term.
They only had 3 months to go to school in.
And that depending on the season
Oh,
when the harvest
35 for 3 months. Oh.
It depends on when the harvest came too, if the kids were at school or no.
Oh.
The berries are ready to pick, school's out. Berries have to be picked. School can wait. Well, here's where they spent some money. For the teacher, 21 seats, and school desk, $120. Teacher's desk and seat, $6. They're furnishing the school, looks like.
Oh. Woodshed and 2 outhouses, $20. Sugar 50 cents, cornstarch 10 cents, shells 50 cents, rosin 5 cents, coal oil 10 cents, candy 5 cents. $8 a month for a pension. That was somebody that was killed in the Indian War.
Yes.
Oh, that's the flour, huh?
Right, 25 pounds of flour it holds.
Oh.
And it's got the doors that open. I use it for my baking cupboard. And then it's got roll top. Then you pull this out. I used to make bread on it. This goes way out. Then it's got a bread drawer. thin bread drawer. And then this is opens. We have lots of storage.
Oh.
This is what they used to use in their kitchen. This was their whole cupboard
Huh.
in the kitchen. And this, the date on it is 1919.
He
He's
just
that
took
good.
a picture?
Yes, he's that good.
Wow. I was noticing that icebox really looks like the real thing.
He takes everything off pictures, or if he looks at it long enough, he can figure it all out.
Well, I don't know how he does it. That is really quite a copy there. I see that this old house that sits across from the church used to have a water tower on it. Today there's just nothing left of it except somebody's made a shed out of what used to be the water tower. 750 people lived here then. That's about the maximum population. Huh?
Now, Peoria itself was never incorporated, so it was taking in the surrounding area.
Oh, I see.
So that's where they get so
the
many
whole
people.
area. Okay.
Because Halsey and Shed, these places were not towns as such yet.
Okay.
Wilbur's grandmother made homemade soap and washed her laundry on the river. They remember these things, see, and that's what I'm trying to get. That this is a real country town, you know, with the bygone days of. We don't have ice cream socials, and we don't have taffy pulls, and we don't have these things anymore. They're another era. Mrs. Shaw, Wilbur's mother, Lola Colbrighter, when she was a little girl, she used to go by lantern light to all the houses to tell them of church night, because they didn't have any regular pastors. They had what you call circuit riders.
Oh, when one come by, well, she go
Right.
tell them about it. Thanks, Barbara and Steve, for telling us all about Peoria.